Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. All right, this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, November the 3rd, 2023. On the front page, we have a business that has opened a new location. The title is A New and Improved Way for You to Get New and Improved. Grit Force Fitness opens at its expanded location in Neepawa. Grit Force Fitness, formerly known as Whitey's Fitness Body Shop, has opened in its new location near the old co-op building in Neepawa. Here we have trainer Sadie McIntosh and Grit Force Fitness co-owner Sherry Hawken standing in the new venue. Here's a picture of the main fitness area of the new facility. And here we have the new and expanded supplement shop within the building. The complete story on the opening can be found on this page by Owen Devereaux. While it won't make the weights any lighter, Neepawa's new state-of-the-art fitness experience will perhaps give you that extra boost to take your workout to a whole other level. The new expanded space for Grit Force Fitness, formerly known as Whitey's Fitness Body Shop, has opened a little bit earlier than expected, as it allowed members to start using the space on Monday, October the 30th. The new facility is located just a few hundred feet away from the old venue in the basement of the former co-op building. Along with the larger open space and additional free weights, it also features new pieces of equipment like a leg press, adductor/abductor machine, and cable machines. Another feature to the space is an expansion for functional circuit training, as well as 16 new pieces of cardio equipment, barbells, plates, and plyometric boxes. Grit Force Fitness co-owner Sherry Hawken told the Banner and Press there was a lot of work from many committed supporters that went into this project. She said, "I'm very excited, proud, and feel very fortunate to be able to share this space with our local community. We could not have done it without help, and there are so many thanks to go around." As for the name change, Hawken explained the process to creating Grit Force. She said, "When we first opened 16 years ago, I remember struggling to find a name for my gym. I used my maiden name, White, tied in with the fact that my parents owned a successful body shop for 30 plus years. This is where the original name came from," noted Hawken. "As for the new name, I love the word grit and always have. It's such a simple word, but the meaning makes it stand out. Grit is that extra something that separates the most successful people from the rest. It's the passion, perseverance, and stamina that we must channel in order to stick with our dreams until they become a reality." Hawken added, however, that while it is a new brand, it is still filled with the same awesome group of coaches, staff, and community. While the membership is still new to the space, Hawken stated the initial response is that people are happy to get out of the basement and have themselves some windows to let some natural light in. These are two things which may seem so small and simple to many people, but two things that excited me about this new building. Being ground level makes our building much more accessible to all. Well, good luck to them. Here is a great picture. Boston Pizza hosts Halloween fun. Neepawa's Boston Pizza restaurant location was host to some Halloween fun for kids this week. The Kids Halloween Fun Day was held on October 31st from 4:30 to 8 p.m., featuring some appropriately themed spooky arts and crafts activities, Halloween movies, pizza, and candy. The attending children also had the opportunity to dress up and enter a costume contest. Pictured above, this group of youngsters were hard at work coloring and crafting. However, some of the kids at the right side of the table took a brief pause to smile for the camera. There we go. All right, a Remembrance Day message from Jody Byram, our Agassiz MLA. At the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month, as a nation, we will pay our highest respects to all who have served and are serving our community and our country. Remembrance Day is a time to reflect and remember those who fought for our freedom. The past actions of these heroes have given our country peace and afforded us our freedom in culture, politics, and choice. Let us never forget their sacrifice and dedication to the freedoms that we live and cherish every day. As we honor those who have served, may we reflect and respect those in active military who continue to serve our country. These individuals are fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, neighbors, and our friends. They are people in uniform who continue to work for peace, for today, tomorrow, and for our future. Much gratitude and deepest respect for all who have sacrificed their lives and to those who continue to protect our country and our freedoms. They gave their tomorrows so we could have ours today. Lest we forget. Jody Byram, MLA for Agassiz. Now, something from the town of Neepawa. There are 100 radon test kits. It's in Neepawa, and you have to register to receive a free radon test kit and test your home for radon. All participants are encouraged to attend the radon information session to learn more about the health effects of radon, why it's a concern in this area, and Health Canada recommendations. It will also include details on where and when to pick up your radon detector. There are only 100 free kits available. The free radon information session date is Wednesday, November the 9th, 7 p.m. via Zoom. The location is online Zoom. Attend the Zoom session from the comfort of your own home or at the town office boardroom. Council and staff will be on hand to answer questions. Test kits will be available following the information session from the Town of Neepawa Civic Administration Office. All details will be sent to registrants. For more information, contact us at 1-855-677-7222 or info@takeactiononradon.ca. Radon levels can vary between neighboring houses. The only way to know your radon level is to test. Radon enters a home through contact with the ground and can build up to elevated levels. Exposure to elevated levels of radon is linked to increased chances of developing lung cancer. Now, at the Roxy Theatre this week, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. On the November 3rd, 4th, showtime is at 7:30 p.m. and on November 5th, it will be a matinee showtime of 2 p.m. And the movie that is showing is Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie, When a magical meteor crash lands in Adventure City, it gives the Paw Patrol pups superpowers, transforming them into the mighty pups. And it is a G level showing, general. And then November the 9th to 11th at 7:30. Note there is a Thursday showing. It is going to be the Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour movie. All right, next, Out of Helen's Kitchen by Helen Drysdale. This week, her feature is on pasta. Pasta is one of the most affordable and versatile foods. Nearly every country has its own unique version of this popular staple. Germany has Spätzle, Greece has orzo, Austria has Fleckerl, Japan has udon, China has lo mein and chow mein, and then there's Italy, where the pastabilities are endless. Helen. It is a staple food of most Italians, who eat over 60 pounds of pasta per person per year. Pasta has changed very little over the centuries. It is still made with the same ingredients. The word pasta has its origins in Greek and Latin and literally means barley porridge in Greek and dough pastry cake in Latin. Pasta was originally eaten plain or sprinkled with sugar, cinnamon, and soft cheese. By the 1300s, dried pasta was very popular for its nutrition and long shelf life, making it ideal for long ship voyages. Pasta made it around the globe during the voyages of discovery a century later. It's hard to believe pasta without the tomato sauce, but that combination came much later. It was in 1839 that the first pasta recipe with tomatoes was documented. Durum wheat was a game changer to the pasta industry. Durum wheat produces a dough that is sturdy enough to be stretched paper thin, dry without cracking, and stand up to boiling, yet retain a pleasing texture and taste. Today, there are more than 600 pasta shapes, sometimes with very unusual names. Vermicelli are small worms, root are wagon wheels, farfalle are butterflies, orecchiette small ears, and ditalini are tiny thimbles, while spaghetti are strings. Don't forget to add plenty of salt to the cooking water before adding the pasta. Good pasta almost never has salt in it, so this is the only time it can be seasoned. Some people add a little olive oil to the cooking water to stop the pasta from sticking. However, it is not necessary. Just use a large pot with plenty of water and remember to stir the pasta occasionally. Never rinse pasta after cooking unless you are making a pasta salad. Pasta has the right amount of starch on the surface to bond to the sauce with which it will be served. Rinsing actually extinguishes that special taste of pasta. How much to cook? Well, for an individual, the recommended serving size is 56 grams of uncooked pasta, which equals approximately 1 cup of cooked pasta. And she has 3 recipes this week. One is Polish haluska with cabbage in it, peppers and pasta alfredo, and pasta fruit salad. All right, the Gladstone Market Report by Tyler Slawinski of the Gladstone Auction. Not only were there treats being given out on Tuesday for Halloween, we were also handing out paychecks to hardworking cattle producers that waited a long time for positive returns on their efforts. With pens finally firming up with frost, the weaning process is well underway and will continue right up until the new year. The welcoming cattle market has many cattle being marketed rather than backgrounded. We traded 1,758 cattle through the ring in Gladstone on October 31st. The market is just as good this week, if not better than last, in spots. Good prices are still available, although large numbers of cattle trading across the prairies have applied more pressure to the market in certain areas. The market is seeing mainly a wide variety of wet-nosed calves, the odd set of yearlings, and still a few cows and bulls. The feeder market was stronger in most classes, not by a huge amount, but enough to maintain stability and stay on course. Finding pen space, financing at new levels, or coordinating trucks will all be playing factors on the market moving on to the weeks ahead. As eastern provinces wrap up harvest, more and more eastern cattle orders trickle to our local buyers, definitely playing a role in the market strength this week. I expect to see mixed feelings on the markets moving forward, creating ups and downs on the market. Cows and bulls were steady to stronger in spots, even though local rail prices remain steady. Cows traded from 127 to 138, with sales to 142. Bulls steady to slightly softer to last week, ranging between 162 to 170, with sales to 174.50. Some highlights from the sale: black steers weighed 415 and they brought 486 per pound. Buckskin steers weighed 505, they brought 420. Red X steers weighed 606 and they brought 380. Strong crossbred steers weighed 710 and they traded for 362. Heifer highlights: Shar heifers weighed 428 and they brought 391. Fancy 560 weight black heifers traded at 335. A set of crossbred heifers weighed 645 and they brought 317 per pound, and a big set of 7 weight mixed heifers traded for 312 per pound. Now we have an article from the Yellowhead Centre saying it posts modest year-end profit by Owen Devereaux. The Yellowhead Centre is coming off one of the most productive years the facility has had in recent memory. The Yellowhead Volunteer Board held its annual general meeting on Monday, October 30th, to review its financial statements and update the public on its long-term outlook. For the most part, the numbers that came out of the AGM were positive, as the facility ran a year-end profit of $13,846. That is one of the best results the Yellowhead has seen since 2016. Total income for last year was $589,796. That number came from the combined operational revenue from the building, as well as donations, the annual farming fundraiser project, and the profits from the 2023 Viterra Men's Provincial Curling Championship. The expenses, meanwhile, were $575,950. The biggest year-over-year increase seen in that ledger was due to repairs and maintenance, mainly focused on the improvements to the upstairs showers in the change rooms. Insurance and utility costs also saw an increase from the previous year. Board President Wayne Jacobsen said each year there are challenges a facility such as the Yellowhead must face. He noted that over this last year, the board, along with the employees of the Yellowhead, have faced those challenges, paid all the bills, and closed out the year with a little extra left over to be able to take care of it again next year. So we have some numbers to read out. The revenue/other income is as follows. Memberships, $4,023. Ice rentals, $174,026. Rental income, $51,172. Red Line Grill, $61,691. Advertising, $22,100. A grant from the town of Neepawa, $108,000. A grant from the RM of North Cypress Langford, $20,000. A grant from Municipal Relations, $34,575. A grant from the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, $10,000. A grant from the Green Team, $6,333. ATM Commission, $524. Interest, $433. Donations and fundraising, $4,640. Farming project, $43,078. And the Viterra Championship brought in $49,201. So the total revenue came to a total of $589,796. Now the expenses are as follows. Advertising, $2,426. Amortization, $42,496. Bookkeeping, $852. Dues and memberships, $1,365. Goods and services taxes paid a total $2,237. Insurance, $60,974. Interest and bank charges, $5,528. Office, $1,625. Property taxes, $2,677. Repairs and maintenance, $142,423. Salaries and benefits, $181,767. Telephone, $3,605. Travel, $4,117. Utilities, $123,858, with the total of expenses being $575,950. So the net income obviously is $13,846. Now we have a closer look at Neepawa's new LPN Training Centre by Owen Devereaux. The conversion of the old RCMP building into a state-of-the-art training centre is progressing nicely. The town of Neepawa has released several updated pictures this week of the expansion and retrofitting of the facility. The alterations are needed to accommodate the Licensed Practical Nursing, or LPN, program that will be offered by Assiniboine Community College, or ACC. This one-year diploma program will feature 25 practical nursing students and is set to begin early 2024. The LPN program is being offered by ACC. Cutting Edge Construction, a Brandon-based company, was hired earlier this year to oversee the renovation and expansion of the facility. The cost of the work is $760,906 plus PST, with the town committed to covering that portion of the cost. The Manitoba government, meanwhile, announced earlier this year that it would provide $2.1 million to cover all other costs, such as new technical equipment that would be needed for the program. The expansion includes a new front facade, additional offices, and a classroom. As well, a mock hospital unit simulation room is being created, which will perfectly mimic the medical situations these LPNs would face in real-world conditions. So, the old RCMP building in Neepawa continues to transform into a new teaching and training center for Assiniboine Community College's Licensed Practical Nursing program. These pictures, recently published by the town of Neepawa, showcase the progress now being made on the interior of the building. And this is the exterior of the building. New space will open in January. As for the LPN program, more details can be found at assiniboine.net/nursing. Next, Facilitating Succession by Casper Verhan. A new event to aid individuals and businesses in connecting with each other is coming to Carberry this month. On November the 14th, the Carberry and District Chamber of Commerce, or CDCC, is welcoming all to attend its first annual trade show and career fair. The event will be open to the public from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Carberry Community Memorial Hall. Kara Burney, Carberry Economic Development Officer and CDCC rep, noted that one of the driving forces behind the conception of this event was succession. She said, "We've noticed in the past that as people start to retire, they are often looking for someone to take over their businesses. Often children are not following in the same footpath as their parents have, which used to be more of a trend. So we're now looking at how succession can happen to keep those businesses open and thriving in our community, and how we can retain youth from our community post-secondary education." So as part of the event, students from grades 10 to 12 will be invited that afternoon prior to the public opening to attend and see what the community has to offer. Students at this point, Burney noted, are beginning to make career path choices. This event will allow them to engage with local options and ask any pertinent questions, such as what education they may need for the job fields presented. And hopefully they will come back and make a connection with somebody to do some apprenticing. Burney added, "History shows that if a business is taken over by someone who was born here, raised here, or has ties to the community, they are more likely to stay and for it to thrive as it goes forward instead of dwindling down. You know your business base if you are in your home community." In addition to businesses, the event's registration was also open to volunteer groups and nonprofit organizations. We know that volunteering is something that has gone down post-pandemic, and for those who are volunteering, often it's hard to recruit volunteers, or people who are new to the community just don't know where to go or who to contact. So this gives them the opportunity to do a little advertising and to show off what they do for our community, and hopefully they will be able to recruit some new volunteers to help them out. As of October the 26th, a total of approximately 30 businesses, volunteer groups, and nonprofits have signed up for this showcase. Sharing a final comment, Burney wished to extend her gratitude with the response received thus far. She said, "We appreciate all those who have signed up so far, and if any business is questioning whether or not they should be a part of it for next year, come and check it out between 6 and 8 and see what's there." Now here are the results for the Fuel Good Day. Little Pirates Children's Centre received a check of $1,076.97 from the Gladstone location. The Neepawa and District Handy Van received $2,217.77 from the Neepawa location. So here we have a picture of Kendra Emerson, Little Pirates Children's Centre Program Director, and Josh Gillis, Gladstone Assistant Branch Manager. Here we have a picture of Justin Kacholski, Neepawa District Handy Van Manager, and Preston Jarama, Neepawa Co-op Gas Bar Manager. Now, the Neepawa Titans are to wear special Remembrance Day themed jerseys by Owen Devereaux. The Neepawa Titans have unveiled a new uniform that honors the legacy of those who have proudly served our country. The team will wear special Remembrance Day jerseys on Saturday, November the 11th at the Yellowhead Centre when the Titans host the Dauphin Kings. Titans board member Jamie Dembo noted that it has been quite some time since Neepawa has played a home game on Remembrance Day, so they felt passionate about commemorating it in a respectful way. As for the design of the sweaters, they will feature the Titans' primary logo on the front of the jersey, which is covered with the Canadian Armed Forces CAD-PAT style. CAD-PAT is the computer-generated digital camouflage pattern developed for use by the military. The shoulder patches consist of the Royal Canadian Legion's iconic poppy design, with the team members in the familiar black and yellowish gold. The sweater's official debut will be on the ice for the Titans game versus the Dauphin Kings on Saturday, November 11th at 5 o'clock p.m. Note the time there, 5 o'clock p.m. Dembo said coming up with the look was part of an even larger collaboration between the Titans and the Neepawa Royal Canadian Legion Branch Number 23. The Titans and the Legion had met several times to discuss partnering together on more activities to draw attention to both clubs and their activities in the community. Both clubs have already been very active in the Remembrance Day ceremony, and we felt that a special game and jersey was appropriate for our first partnering activity, stated Dembo. The design of the jersey was a collaboration that honors those that served in the past, is relevant to those serving today, and pays homage to those that made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Anyone wishing to purchase the Remembrance Day sweaters can do so by bidding on them online at www.32auctions.com/Neepawa Titans Legion between November the 10th and November the 17th. Proceeds will go to the Neepawa Legion. As for future collaborations between the Titans and Legion, the pair are planning on partnering on the upcoming Texas Hold'em tournament set for December the 9th. All active military and Legion members will receive a discounted entrance fee when they present their NDI card or Legion membership card. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, still with hockey, this is the NACI Tigers high school hockey team host annual Slasher Showdown. That's a tongue twister. The Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute, or NACI, Tigers hockey team hosted their annual Slasher Showdown tournament at the Yellowhead Centre from October the 26th to the 28th. In total, 8 clubs from across the province participated. For the NACI Tigers, their first game was versus the Crocus Plainsmen, and saw Neepawa cruise to a 6-1 win. In the championship bracket semifinal, Neepawa took on the Vincent Massey Vikings and were defeated 4-3. That loss sent the Tigers to the third place game against the Verdun Golden Bears. Neepawa would end up closing the tournament on a positive note, winning their final game by the score of 5-1. In the championship game, Vincent Massey beat Boissevain 4-3, while in the consolation final, the Bellevaux Barracudas topped the Morris Mavericks 8-2. Next up for the Neepawa Tigers hockey team is the start of the regular season in the Westman High School Hockey League. The Tigers' first home game is set for Wednesday, November the 8th against the Vincent Massey Vikings. The start time at the Yellowhead Centre that day is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. All right, now still on sports. Titans dominate the Winnipeg Blues. Here we have a picture of Mason Hartley, number 14, scored the first of many Neepawa goals on Sunday, October the 29th against the Winnipeg Blues. By the end of the night, the Titans had registered 11 goals on the way to an 11-2 victory. And in the MJHL standings, it's still fairly close. Of course, some have played more games than other ones, but Verdun Oil Capitals is at this point is in first place with 21 points. Dauphin Kings close behind with 20. Wayway 17, OC and Blizzard 14, Neepawa Titans 13, Swan Valley 7. And the Neepawa Farmers Hockey Team news by Owen Devereaux. A short-handed goal from Cole Olson ended up being the game winner for the Deloraine Royals in a 3-2 win over the Neepawa Farmers on Saturday, October the 28th. The game was Neepawa's first regular season game of the 2023-24 Tiger Hills Hockey League schedule. Ward Susky and Tyler Fenning-Cox scored for the Farmers, while Cole Olson, Mitch Olson, and Quinn Hobbs all tallied for the Royals. The next action for Neepawa Farmers will also be on the road, as they go to Souris on Friday, November 5th, to play the Elks. The Farmers' home opener will take place on Sunday, November the 5th, when they face the Rivers Jets. Start time at the Yellowhead Centre is set for 6:30 p.m. And around the league, Minnedosa win home opener. It was the perfect way for the Minnedosa Bombers to christen their brand new home as they picked up a 5-4 victory over the Killarney Shamrocks. The game play on Saturday, October 28th, was the first regular season affair for the Bombers inside the Sunrise Credit Union Arena. Bryson Werbicki Mallet opened up the scoring just over 5 minutes into the game for the hometown team. That was quickly followed up by one from teammate Ryan Haino. The Shamrocks replied with a pair before Matt Sales reclaimed the Minnedosa lead just before the end of the first period. Saylor added one more in the second to make it 4-2 heading into the third period. For the final 20 minutes, while Killarney did score twice in the third, the Bombers retained their lead with a Shane Jury marker with 6:55 left in the regulation. Jury's goal went along with 3 assists for the Bombers center, who has been a huge contributor to the team's success going back to their days in the North Central Hockey League. Meanwhile, the Gladstone Lakers scored early and often on the way to a 7-4 decision over the Pilot Mound Pilots. Sean Kubis scored a pair, 2 goals and 1 assist, while Jesse Toth had himself a 5-point night with a goal and 4 assists. Jaden Shumalak, Connor Grunston, Trey Evanson, and J.C. Kennedy also scored for the Lakers. Gladstone's home opener will be on Saturday, November the 4th against the Hartney Blues at 8 p.m. And Gladstone, or Carberry. It was not the best of starts for the Carberry Plainsmen, as they have been bested in a pair of games. The regular season began early for them as they played the McGregor Wild on Saturday, October 21st, falling 6-4. The next Saturday, they traveled to Verdun to challenge the Oil Kings, ultimately losing 4-2. After falling 4-0 after 40 minutes, Carberry played strong in the third, cutting the lead in half. Jaden Johnson and Reg Pohl scored for the Plainsmen. So, the next regular season home game in Neepawa for the Neepawa Titans is November 7th at 7:30 p.m. against Dauphin. And then also it's against Dauphin on November the 11th at 5 p.m. Oh, we talked about that already, the raid on info session. Here we have area participants find success at Manitoba Ag X, submitted by the Neepawa Banner and Press. The annual Manitoba Ag X concluded on October the 28th. Exhibitors from the Neepawa/Gladstone area were JAS Red Angus, Camo Cattle Company, Hard Rock Land and Cattle Company, Sviana Bjarnson, JMB Charlet. The results are as follows. National champion 2-year-old Red Angus female, Red Allison Carly 28J, exhibited by Camo Cattle Company or Cam Tibbet of Neepawa. Grand champion limousine female, RPY Paynes Cassidy, 144KET, exhibited by Eden Meadows Farm, Zaner, Saskatchewan, and Hard Rock Land and Cattle Company, Neepawa. Cassidy receives direct entry into the Agribition Beef Supreme Challenge at Canadian Western Agribition in Regina, November the 26th. The Agribition Beef Supreme Challenge invites supreme and grand champions from major livestock shows across North America to join Agribition's grand champion bulls and females to compete together with a chance at the Supreme Champion title. This elite multi-breed competition is judged by a panel of 5 respected cattle producers. National Charolais Senior Heifer Calf Champion, JMB London 305L, JMB Charolais Brookdale. Reserve National Charolais Senior Heifer Calf Champion, JMB Layton 304L, JMB Charolais Brookdale. Reserve National Senior Bull Calf Champion, JMB Laramie 302L, JMB Charolais Brookdale. Sustainably Focused Pork Perspectives. This week it is entitled Defending Our Food Supply. In hockey, teams rely on their forwards, their defensemen, and finally their goaltender to keep the puck out of the back of the net. These layers allow for consistency in managing oncoming threats. Manitoba hog farmers use a similarly layered set of defenses to protect the health of their animals and our food supply. The 105 Code of Practice for the Care and Handling of Pigs requirements are mandatory and enforceable in Manitoba. Farmers are transitioning to the Enhanced Canadian Pork Excellence Program, an audible program that maintains and enforces the best on-farm practices to eliminate any potential safety and meat quality hazards. A key part of the Canadian Pork Excellence Program is Pig Trace, which offers supply chain confidence throughout the country and gives producers and animal health experts the ability to track all pig movements to mitigate food safety or animal health threats while utilizing the program's ability to demonstrate source verification. Finally, Canada's stringent meat inspection system ensures only healthy pigs are processed and that no antibiotic residue is present in the meat. As well, growth hormones are prohibited in the raising of pigs. Hog farmers are open and transparent about their biosecurity protocols with everyone that comes to their yard site, including feed suppliers, contractors, and transport drivers. These protocols include restricting on-farm access, keeping accurate visitor logs, following shower in and out procedures, wearing dedicated barn clothes, and properly disinfecting supplies or tools used in a barn. Maintaining pig health is a farmer's pride and passion, and everyone in the hog sector works together to ensure that our food system remains safe and dependable. This layered approach to implementing sound production practices helps keep proverbial pucks out of the net, promoting a reliable supply of fresh, nutrient-rich, and affordable pork. All right, we'll go back and look at a couple of other pages that we have. Homebodies by Rita Friesen. Thank You for Asking is what it's titled. It's not uncommon for many of you, any of you, to gently and sincerely ask me how I am doing. My standard answer is that I am doing well, walking with a purpose, grieving, yes, but moving forward. The walking with a purpose does not refer to me walking my dog. We often say that something or someone is up and running, and I really don't want to run. For me, running implies simply hurrying, sometimes to get away from something, and sometimes to get to some place. I want to be right here, right now. I want to feel sorrow and anticipate joy. I want to face each day knowing that I have a purpose on this earth and do that well. I recognize that today the only concrete evidence of doing anything was tidying up the china cabinet. The items that could be washed got cycled through the dishwasher. The items that required hand washing got hand washed. Some items got carefully packed away and new old items put in their place. I can look at that project and know I will not have to repeat it for a very long time. I walked Ari. This is a task I embrace at least twice a day. For winter, I am aiming for 6,000 steps versus my summer 10,000, knowing that most days the count will be much closer to the 10, but with no internal pressure. I sat down to eat 3 times today, lunch being a gift from a granddaughter. The other 2 meals were indeed the cold cereal and milk with a side of banana, and I know that I will be eating regularly and probably more healthily for a very long time. It's these tasks that are never-endingly repetitious that bog me down, but I will continue to face them, some days with more grace than others. I have not lost my sense of humor or my deep appreciation for each breath I take. The week of my partner's passing, a caring individual, in a casual conversation on the street, mentioned that I looked really tired. Really? Can't be having that. So I hied me off to the pharmacy and asked the helped staff member to direct me to the facial masks. Either my enunciation or her hearing had her leading me to the section for those all too familiar blue or white face masks that we have worn for so long. While a smile, I patted my cheeks and explained I needed a facial mask, a cream or a mud that would improve the appearance of my tired face. That problem resolved, we approached the counter, and in an exchange with the family member working that day, I explained the confusion and stated that I was darn elated. I had not been directed to the Halloween mask section, and we all had a good chuckle. I find my home rather quiet. Family and friends have all resumed their busy lives as they should. I am grateful for my dog, but even more thankful for the outpouring of caring for my family and my community. I am well. Thank you for asking. Justified versus necessary. Faithfully Yours by Neil Stoshine. Every year on November 11th, Canadians join other Commonwealth countries in paying tribute to the soldiers, sailors, and Air Force personnel who died while fighting overseas on one or more of the world's battlefields. Our intent is not to glorify war. We accept war as a fact of life, as something that has been with us since the beginning of human time. On November 11th, we come together to pray for our communities, our country, and our world, asking the God of our understanding that we might see the day when the nations of the world will renounce war as a means of settling conflicts and choose instead to negotiate an end to all war and a lasting peace. Sadly, as we come together this year, we must admit that this goal seems farther away than it did 1 year ago. While the world's attention is focused on Ukraine and a small area in the Middle East, the Gaza Strip, wars and rumors of wars persist in many other parts of our world. In fact, it is hard to find even one region on earth where, as I write these words, someone isn't at war with someone else or threatening to be so before too long. We wish things could be different, but right now this is how they are. That shouldn't stop us from asking some hard questions, one of which is, are there times when going to war can be justified? Your answer to that question will depend upon your political ideology, your worldview, and yes, you're reading this correctly, your religious beliefs. If, after careful evaluation, you determine that a specific war is justified, ask a second question. Is it necessary? That question may surprise you. In biblical times, wars were motivated by a lust for land and loot. A king felt the urge to expand his territory, thereby raising his image, prestige, and increasing his power. He would then target a specific country, usually one whose armies his could easily overpower. He would invade it, conquer it, and annex it into his kingdom. He had the land. Now he could steal its resources, the loot, enslave its people, and use what he stole to fatten his own bank account and live in luxury, while those he conquered and now ruled lived in poverty. Sadly, not much has changed since those days. People still go to war. They are still motivated by a lust for land and loot. They often use false accusations, flawed logic, and flimsy excuses to justify attacking their neighbors. They consider their actions to be justified. But who are they? Not nearly as often as they would have us believe. I have often wondered how many of today's wars are motivated by fear, the fear that something bad will happen to a nation and its leaders if they don't expand their territory and secure their borders. You see, fear makes cowards of us all. People, bound by fear, will stop at nothing to preserve their lives and the lives of those closest to them. They will go to war and fight until their armies are destroyed, their land is filled with potholes and rubble, the hopes of their people are shattered, their country is bankrupt, and what they fear has come to pass. There is a better way. We can face our fears and then put faith and trust in the God who, when our ways please him, will make even our enemies to be at peace with us. Two thumbs up articles. A huge thumbs up to Neepawa Gladstone Co-op for choosing the handy van as one of the beneficiaries of the Fuel Good Day this year. Thank you to the co-op staff for your help, to everyone who supported the barbecue fundraiser, and to those who purchased fuel during the Fuel Good Day from the Neepawa Handy Van Board. And also thumbs up to Dax, Yerix, and Koi Funk, who played with Team Manitoba 16 and unders October the 22nd in the WHL Hockey Championships in Red Deer, Alberta, winning the gold medal in a hard-fought game 6-5. First time Manitoba ever won the gold. By Tom Yerix. Now we have another section of the paper this week. Obviously, Remembrance Day is coming up, and this is a little section of the Remembrance Day in the Neepawa Banner and Press. So I thought it would be nice to read some of this while we have a little bit more time. I'm not sure how far we'll get. This was put in the paper by Casper Werhan. It's Remembrance Day Letters to Home. This Remembrance Day, the Neepawa Banner and Press is honored to be able to feature some letters to home written by individuals from the area who served in differing capacities. We begin this section with material submitted by Lionel Boiteau. The late Wilfred, or Wilf Boiteau, pictured here, father of Lionel Boiteau, grew up in St. Rose de Lac. However, he lived most of his life in McCreary, where he was the owner of Wilf's Bakery. During the war, St. Rose had a cigarette club that sent cigarettes to the boys overseas, a common practice in those days. Advertisements from cigarette companies promoting this practice can even be found in the Neepawa Banner and Press archives. Wilf was the one who received these packages and acknowledged them. Working as a clerk, Wilf had access to a typewriter and thus was able to type letters and cards. Most letters were handwritten in French, his mother tongue. The following letter, also pictured, is one written to his mother Bertha at an unknown date. It has been parsed, transcribed, and translated to the best of our ability with assistance from Lionel. The translation is, "Very dear mother, I received your airmail from October the 5th saying that Teresa has a little boy, but I haven't received the telegram yet. I'm fine, not yet sick despite the humid temperature since it's almost always raining. I will send $25 to Teresa for Christmas or New Year's. I sent a letter yesterday, but they are so slow. I don't have any airmail forms, therefore I will try it here and see how the time it takes. Well, I hope the family is all well, and my best wishes to Teresa and her son, that he doesn't grow like a weed. Well, bye-bye from your son who loves you. Bebe. See more from Wilf on the following pages. The materials on this page are in supplement to the Wilf Boito feature on the front page of this edition. The following is text from 2 separate diary entries that Boito has typed as he had access to a typewriter. They have been printed as they were originally typed. Note, June is French for June. Okay. World War II, May the 11th. 11 p.m., a barrage of 2,000 artillery guns of all types opened up on them. Next to this 45-minute barrage, and all attack was made on all sectors across Italy. Slow progress was made, having to cross the river by boat. Their aim was Cassino and this front, and to hold the Jerry's occupied on the other fronts. On May the 12th, 4 a.m., more than 1,000 planes bombed Jerry's gun position and headquarters. At every 25 minutes, one squadron of bombers leaves the airfield and circles over Jerry's lines, waiting for the firing order and a definite target. The Canadian Corps is held in reserve, thought the artillery. And tanks are in the thick of it there. There is 78th English Division, 8th Indian Division, 12th Polish Division, 2 Free French Division and 8th Army troops, and 1 Armored Corps, 5th Canadian Corps, 5th Canadian Artillery, and 1 Canadian Corps Infantry. The 1st Canadian Armored Corps is in close support. The stock in this park is coming in fine. The issues as the same, for it goes out as fast as it comes in. I am 4 days behind on my filling, but am now getting caught up. I just broke my glasses, so I have to wait for some new ones. Hope to get them soon. He goes on to talk about middle of May till the middle of June. Here are a few dates. Left England July 1st. Landed in Sicily on the 17th. Invasion was the 10th. Italy September 3rd. We were in Malta Harbor for 2 days. When we landed, the fruits were in abundance, and we ate lots of them. On November the 23rd, 1943, I went to the hospital with jaundice. Went to Malta for 6 weeks in the hospital, then left for North Africa, where I left for Italy on December 28th. Landed the 1st of January. I joined my original outfit on January 11th. They were near Ortona. Fell on the 25th of Christmas. Life in Sicily. We left Scotland at dawn on July the 1st, 1943. We sailed on the Mediterranean seas past the Gibraltar, Algiers, and steam into Malta Harbor on the evening of the 10th. We remained there till July 15th. On that morning, we lifted anchor and set sail again for our well-known destination of Sicily. We arrived in Syracuse the same night and were welcomed by enemy planes and heavy fire. One bomb nearly had us, but missed. The next morning, we debarked and started to march towards our camp. We had full pack and kit bag rifles. After going 4 or 5 miles, we stopped to wait for transport to camp. We stopped in Cassabili, where we stayed in it for 1 week only. We got all our rides in except 10. 2 of them were lost in the crossing, and 8 had not yet arrived. And on the 18th, we started to work in our office. We had the penthouse up for the Visadex and started to unseal the cabinets as we had some stores to decorate, and binned we set to work on then right away and had it all cleaned up before the war casualty orders started to come in. The civilians were friendly, but they were also very hostile. There were still some snipers in the vicinity of our camp. The mosquitoes were pretty bad, so they issued us with nets and ointment to keep them off. Also, the malaria was starting to get around, so we had to take some type of pills. From there, we went and camped nearer to the active war front. Grapes were in a good quantities, and also the oranges. We had a few apples and eggs, but the latter were hard to get. Wind was not so hard, so we got hold of lots of it. At night, we would have a feed of onions and tomatoes when available, and when we could get hold of some eggs, we sure would make a feed out of them because they were so scarce. When we landed, we could get practically anything with the cigarette, but as we advanced towards the center of things were getting near, they were even selling eggs, 4 eggs for 25 cents. In the whole of the campaign, we had quite a time. We didn't have much fitting to do, but I suppose the worst is not yet over. I only was at 2 church parades during the whole time I was there. Wow. I'm just going to read a couple of the other ones that are here. No picnic at all. The letters to come are some of the many written by Manson Martin, provided by the Beautiful Plains Museum. According to an entry from the Neepawa Press dated May 20th, 1948, Charles Manson Martin was enlisted with the RCAF in 1942, serving as an instructor for 2 years before proceeding overseas. Upon return to Canada in 1945, he held the rank of pilot officer. The first letter reads, December 7th, 1942. Dear Mom, it's really a short note this time because I've been sitting here talking to a new instructor and listening to the radio and had almost made up my mind to go to bed, but they are really working us here on the days that it is fit to fly. About 6 to 8 hours in the air, and it really isn't a picnic at all. Had my second student go solo this morning and checked my first one for night flying last night. Got quite a kick out of it, and he didn't break his neck on the aircraft either. I guess it will be New Year's this year, and I'm still not sure if I can get one of the 2 weeks that I have coming to me besides. However, I'm going to have a couple of days at their expense if they won't give it to me. I was down to London Saturday night with Raj and bought a pair of shoes and a present for Peg. This afternoon I'm going down to hear Cab Calloway, the Coonork leader whom I used to listen to years ago. He comes up quite often. I've met a very nice gal here. She has a swell, large home and little to do. She's a swell sort, and so we will be going skating soon. So my skates, protector, pants, sweater, etc. could be sent express some of these days soon, as they started hockey practice tonight. And so until I catch up on some sleep and find something more interesting to talk about, I remain your son, Manson. P.S. Cubby is home on leave and you might see him any day soon. And here's some excerpts from Colin Ross Campbell of Minnedosa, who was enlisted in the Air Force during World War II. He served with the RCAF from 1941 to 45. A portion of his service was with the 426 Squadron at Dishforth, Yorkshire. Their personnel worked on Wellington bombers before being converted to Halifax bombers and moving on to Linton. Campbell had cousins who were also enlisted. Those mentioned in the materials provided to the Neepawa Banner and Press by his daughter Colleen Desolé were Arthur Macquarie, Jim Murphy, and Clayton Macquarie. Another cousin, Clifford Macquarie, was with the Canadian Army show. The segments shared below are portions of entries from a personal account given by Campbell and featured in a book titled Veterans Military Memories. So here we have his first one. Arrival to Bournemouth. We were to be billeted in hotels, but 2 nights before we arrived, the hotel we were to be in was bombed. It was the first devastation I had seen up close, and the stench of decomposing bodies and the dust and rubble of workers trying to dig out and clear up the mess was depressing. We were put in temporary billets. While in Bournemouth, I had the good fortune to see a few guys I knew from back home. Clifford Johnson and Harvey Woodcock were schoolmates in aircrew. They were both lost within 3 months. While walking on the street in Bournemouth one evening, a distinguished gentleman asked me for a light. He had an unlit cigarette in his mouth and was dressed in the American Red Cross uniform. It was Adolphe Monjou, a French actor who was in the USA and enlisted in Red Cross. I was so astonished I didn't even get an autograph. Back at Linton, operations were starting, and 408 Squadron joined us on the base, so now we had over 40 new aircraft. After a month or so, I was transferred to 9426, which was a maintenance group to service armament and turrets on aircraft and to do troubleshooting on flight operations when night bombing was in force. When the Berlin raids were on, the trips were very long, with aircraft leaving at 7 p.m. and they wouldn't return until 4 a.m. the next day. It made for long nights for duty crews, as it was for the flyers. When one is on a base for over 2 years, a lot of personnel pass through, some with tragic results. I try not to relate tragedies I have experienced of men decimated, aircraft crashes I attended to defuse bombs and to remove cartridges and ammunition to help airmen hurt and shaken by near mishaps, but thankful for their return. To see grown men shaken and in tears and fearful for their lives leaving on missions and try to reassure them that all will be well tends to mature one very early. To see death at an early age tends to harden one to life, but the good times are remembered and the bad are buried in your mind. One of the best times I had was a visit to Surrey to visit my cousin in October 1943. We spent a leisurely weekend at Brighton by the sea in southern England, and although the beaches were strewn with barbed wire and barricaded, the girls were friendly and the climate nice. When I left, we said goodbyes like we may never meet again. There was still lots of work to be done. Disarm an aircraft from the end of World War II, remove guns and bombs and secure all bomb dumps. The squadron were doing surveillance over France and Germany, and as the air crews like air gunners and bomber aimers were being dispatched for the Pacific, armorers were being recruited to man the turrets on these runs. I was fortunate to be able to take 3 of these trips. One trip was over France, where I saw Vimy Ridge and the remnants of the Maginot Line, and another over Hamburg and Cologne to see the devastation. The third was over the Ruhr Valley, where there had been heavy damage. And it goes on to say, the following letter is one Campbell wrote to his parents at Bethany, Manitoba. A year could not be determined, but was written while overseas with the RCAF. February the 3rd. Dear Mother and Dad, well, here it is, the eve before I leave, and I am all set to go. I received your 2 swell letters of January 10th and 15th yesterday, like over a month later, and was sure glad to get all the news again. Also got a nice Valentine from Ruth. Had my day off on Tuesday and went to York to do a little shopping, but never had much success and didn't stay long. I did call on Miss Cassidy again, though, and had a cup of tea and a chat. When I came back, you can imagine my surprise to see Jody Jackson go whizzing by me on a bicycle. She is on the same station as I and is a sergeant. I didn't get a chance to speak to her other than say hello, but we'll look her up when we return from leave. Everything is going along pretty good with me. I've been very busy getting my clothes in shape these last few evenings. Last night I washed 2 dress shirts and 4 pairs of socks, besides a dozen blankies. It sure is quite a chore. As you will see, I am in very poor writing mood tonight and shouldn't really be writing at all. I bought a few sheets of music the other day and mailed them to you. Guess they won't get to you in time for Valentine's Day, but will arrive sometime, I hope. We've been having some damp weather with quite a bit of wind. It isn't cold, though, and today I noticed some green shoots of grass coming up among the old. The old grass didn't really die, but remained green all winter. Well, Mother, I'm in a dead stall so far as writing is concerned, so we'll leave this till morning and finish it then. Here it is morning again and somewhat colder. Tonight I go on leave. Payday this morning and then get ready. I'm glad to hear that you're having such a nice winter and hope it continues to be. It will be somewhat easier on feed and fuel. I guess there will be plenty of sleighing, though. Are the cars still running? What about the curling? Have they had any bonspiels? Well, folks, hope I have more news next time I write. So long for now. Love, Ross. Colin Ross Campbell. It's a picture of him right here. And here's a great picture too. Memories from the Neepawa EFTS. This photo identifies them as at the Neepawa airport and is dated May 16th, 1944. See, lots of women participated in helping with the cause also. Anyways, that is it for this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we'll see you again. Don't forget Remembrance Day on November the 11th. So I'll say bye for now. See you again.